In the past few months, the world went from being repetitive and boring to unstable and sometimes even scary, especially for our students. In this week's video, we'll be taking a look at the most common questions I've seen regarding the potential effect that the pandemic might have on the academic year 2020-2021. It's Monday! And that means it's time for me to welcome you to Brilliant Babble, the time of the week where I talk about subjects that are hopefully both lighthearted and informative for you guys. By the time you watch this video, it's also Eid, or
one day after Eid, or one day before Eid, or 1 week after Eid, or 2 months after Eid, I don't know.
So let me begin this video by saying Eidkum Mubarak. I wish you all the love, blessings and peace in this joyful day. Kil aam wa antum bikhair. Millions of students around the world are worried about the status of their next academic year. In my last video, I talked about personal fears I had before joining the university, but obviously I had these fears under more normal situations. But with more than 450,000 international students in the UK alone, one has to wonder, what is the current advice given by the relevant authorities, and what should we do regarding the next year of study? Let's start with a good dose of positivity by saying all parties involved are working very hard to find a plan that is best suitable to deliver the best education possible, considering the global situation. The world has been through tougher times and made it out of these tougher times. And often these tough times produce the greatest minds. So let's stay hopeful. But also we need to know what the hell are we supposed to do. For starters, let's break it down into two. 1, new international students. And 2, returning international students. For new international students, most of whom had their graduations sadly cancelled or postponed, this is probably the strangest fresher year they can possibly ask for. Are they going to start universities online? Are admissions the same? Well, let's take a look. Question number 1. Can I still apply for courses starting in September 2020? Yes, universities and colleges are still accepting applications for university starts in September 2020. The application process will go on as normal, but it's important that if you're interested in applying to university, you contact that university directly to ensure that you have all the information you need, how to apply, and information about requirements. But definitely, yes, you can still apply for universities in September 2020. Question number 2. What happens if I'm a student who's due to study in the UK in September/October 2020 and unable to travel in time? Well, this is a bit tricky because at the moment it's difficult to tell when the disruptions will end. Many universities are creating backup plans in case international students are not able to make it in time. Again, students are advised to contact the universities directly to ensure that there are plans in place for if they are unable to make it in time. But most universities will send frequent updates as the situation develops. So the short answer to that question is contact universities, and you should be fine because they will tell you what you have to do. Question number 3. Will students still be able to come to the UK to study if they are unable to secure an English language test, like IELTS, due to the test centers being closed? So the short answer is yes. All international students need to have what is called a Tier 4 visa. It's issued by the Home Office in the UK. Guidance by the Home Office was released in April, outlining that universities will make a decision based on school grades. Again, please find the link in the description for more information from the UK Office for Immigrations and Visas. Question 4. Will students still be able to come to the UK to study if they are unable to take their final year school examinations? This is a really tough one. Universities still didn't figure out how would they admit students who are yet to take their final year examinations. In most cases, international bodies have changed the way they group their results. For IB, for example, the organization released information about how they decided to handle the final gradings and final exams by cancelling board exams, and more information can be found in the description. One important website to look at is the UCAS website, which is basically the main website international students use to apply to the UK. But in short, in most cases, schools and organizations already have arranged a way to calculate your grades, and these grades would be used by the university to make a decision whether or not they can admit you. Obviously, the other side of the coin are returning students. So what happens to us?
Are we left for dead?
So regarding international students who are returning to university, we have question number 1. Should students be advised to leave the UK and return home? No. What I mean by no is that the UK government did not specifically advise students to return back home. The government instructed universities to support students who are living on campus in terms of food, support, and accommodation. Students who are still living in the UK should contact their universities for any support they need. But the universities will continue supporting students who are also forced to leave the country. This can be addressed by online assessments and online teaching. Question number 2. Are international students and staff able to access healthcare in the UK? So this is very important. The National Health Service, NHS, provides treatment for the coronavirus for absolutely everyone here in the UK for free. Question number 3. What would happen to educational quality if we are forced to study remotely? So, the Quality Assurance Agency for Higher Education, the QQA, have published and will continue publishing guidelines for universities regarding remote studying. The QQA also have created a quality discussion forum to facilitate discussion between universities, academic staff, and students. This is where us students can discuss things like assessments and feedback, admissions, credit progression, graduation, learning, and teaching. The QQA also instructed universities to have a system where students can raise complaints and concerns. Students must have and be informed of both the university internal complaints and also external complaints. The Office for the Independent Adjudicator have published a briefing note to ensure that these complaints are being addressed. I know this has been a very depressing video, probably. I know the world probably looks like a mess right now, but let's try to keep in mind that the current situation is a very dynamic one. It keeps changing every second. We students are struggling both academically, financially, and socially. Look at me, I'm spending Eid alone, filming a video about the pandemic. But what else can we do? Let's wait it out, and inshallah everything will go back to some sense of normalcy. But until then, stay curious, stay brilliant, and stay safe.